This podcast is rated R for restricted. Under 17 requires accompanying parent or adult guardian. Mission 250.
Welcome to the Mission 250 Filmcast, where we are watching every movie on the top 250 movies of all time list, according to IMDb. You can go to our website, mission250filmcast.com, where we have our list frozen, and you can check out all of our older episodes. I am one of your hosts, Denny, and joining me are
John, DC.
And this week, we have a very special guest from the Rochester Rising podcast, Amanda.
Hi.
Hi, thanks for being on. Would you want to describe your podcast and where people can find more of you?
Yeah, absolutely. So I run an online-only entrepreneurial news site focused on Rochester, Minnesota. So I put out articles, and I do have a podcast as well. It's called Rochester Rising, and you can find it on iTunes, and our website's rochesterrising.org.
Nice.
Very nice.
And so this week, we are watching number 167, which is the 2007 movie Into the Wild, directed by Sean Penn. The synopsis is, after graduating from Emory University, top student athlete Christopher McCandless abandons his possessions, his entire $24,000 savings account to charity, and hitchhikes to Alaska to live in the wilderness. John, would you want to kind of describe what we do on this podcast each week?
Oh, sure. We're doing a little out of order, you know.
Yeah.
About a year and a half ago, we decided, maybe more than that now. I need to fix that, right?
It's true. I don't remember how long ago it was either. So you're good.
Yeah. So we decided to find an excuse to get together and watch movies, at least virtually, since we're all in different places now. And what we did was we decided to start watching the top 250 list of movies as rated by IMDb users. So we froze that list in time because otherwise it would be a bit confusing because the list is changing all the time. And so we're watching those movies in reverse order, one a week. And when we're lucky, we get to have special guests like Amanda.
Yeah.
And so we watch the movie, we talk about it, we each give our opinion on what we thought of the movie, and then Denny sometimes has exhaustive facts and trivia to follow up.
Exhaustive.
It's always great. I love it. And yeah, this week, Amanda, would you want to start off with your review of this movie?
So yeah, I feel like this is the third time I watched it. And when I was watching this, I was like, should I take notes? Should I just take it all in? And I thought I would just sit there and take it in since this was the third time I watched it.
Nice.
So I have a lot of mixed feelings about this movie. And that's why I thought this would be a good one to talk about.
Yeah, I remember you telling me, I'm like, you were saying, oh, pick that one because I don't understand why someone would do that.
Right. So yeah, I get the whole, Alexander Supertramp, right? He makes this name for himself and just totally goes off the grid and burns all his money on the side of the road, cuts up his credit cards. It's like pure craziness. Then goes off into the wilderness, like can't even call his poor sister for 2 years. No one knows if he's even alive. I don't know. I thought it was just how someone gets in that headspace that you do this and have complete disregard for your loved ones in society, no matter how badly they treated you. It's like, my opinion of the character is that he didn't really connect with anybody or care about anybody. So the most touching point for me is when he was sitting, and I can't remember the guy's name. I think it was Len, the older man who he was visited right before he went to Alaska when this gentleman wants to adopt him.
The Hal Holbrook character?
Yeah. Ron, that's Ron. Yeah.
Ron. And Ron sitting in the car, he was a veteran, and his family, I believe, was killed by a drunk driver while he was serving.
Yeah.
Right.
I believe that's what the story was. And he wants to adopt Alexander Supertramp, and he basically says no. And this poor guy, it was just like, you wanted to slap this kid in the face. Like, stop. But I just think the whole thing was crazy. Then he goes off into Alaska, no map. Because what respectable person would take a topical map of where you're going and really little understanding of how to survive? And I'm sure we'll get into this more with the trivia, because whenever I found out this was a real story, which I don't know when that was in the sequence, if I had read the book and then realized it was real or watched the movie, but just reading more about like even how the people in Alaska reacted to this and, the background of how close he was to society and had no idea was kind of crazy. So I have mixed feelings about it. The character to me is like really aggravating and just disregard for people.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I like that.
TC, do you agree?
That is not the.
TC, what do you think?
I have a different take. I have a little bit different
let's hear
take. She's not wrong though. I mean, now that I'm thinking, I'm like, you're right. The kid he's fucking annoying. He's selfish. He's like kind of a prick. You're right. I mean, I think I get more involved with just the idea of how one can be so crazy and selfish, but then touch so many people indirectly, like not meaning it. Like the guy wants to adopt him. Somehow he like managed to be in a place where he got the couple back together, and I don't know. He like his like an interesting take on being alive touched other people that connected them better to other people. I don't know. It's really weird. So yeah, I hadn't thought about it the way she did about how like aggravating he really is. Because now I'm reflecting back. That is like if that was my brother, I'd be pissed.
Yeah,
right. Like I'd be so bad. Like where the hell is this guy? I mean, what's going on? Is he dead? I mean, he's got to be dead, right? I mean, eventually I'd just be like, he's dead. Fuck it, he's dead. Don't even bother. He's gone. But yeah, I know that's an interesting take. I obviously also, as I kept calling it before we started into the Eddie Vedder, I love the soundtrack. It's just a great mix, and it's perfect for the setting. I think it's extremely well done film. Usually when something's based on a book that's also really well written and done, it's usually you get good material, I would think, to work with. So, I mean,
what did you think of the directing? I mean, it is interesting. This is Sean Penn's. He did the screenplay as well as the directing. All
I could keep thinking about is his terrible novel. So I was trying to avoid thinking about Sean Penn in this one because Bob Honey, who just do stuff, ain't walking into the woods in Alaska. I
don't know if you know. We talked about that a little last week, and I don't know if you know of Sean Penn's book that he just released, and it's gotten remarkably
really
bad reviews.
Yeah.
I did not. I actually saw him on Conan O'Brien. I don't know. It must have been in the past couple of weeks, and he was just on there. And I was like, he looks like he's half dead. Like, what is going on?
He was probably doing the circuit for the book, which is like I said, titled "Bob Honey Who Just Do Stuff." But I don't know. I think the directing was really good. I think Emile did a great job. I believed it when he was uncomfortable, and he lost a lot of weight, right? I mean, he must
tons
have.
of weight.
Denny must have that.
I got it
down somewhere.
Stay tuned.
Okay, copy it.
Yep.
I hadn't really thought about it from the other angle. I was just so involved with like, I don't know. It's like it's an amazing thing to think about, like being like, fuck this, I'm out, and then just walk into the woods. I mean, like that takes some serious balls.
Yeah,
but yeah. Anyways,
or crazy.
I got more to say probably, but I could ramble on and on and on. So why don't you go, Denny? Let's see what you got.
So I agree with both of you. I think that this guy is extremely aggravating, and I think this movie is amazing. I think the movie knows it's making a movie about an aggravating character. And I kind of like how it goes all in with that. Like the parents are annoying. This kid is annoying and stupid. And I would find it hard to believe anybody would side with him in a lot of the things. Like,
right.
Him as a character is great because he's kind of a sheltered life, grew up with like a millionaire, rich parents, was sheltered, was against them, never had to deal with any type of loss or anything like that. So he didn't know what he was getting himself into.
Well, wait, he did have the sort of the traumatic past, kind of a lot of with the way his parents were, and that his father was married.
Right, but the only thing,
two families.
The only thing he learned from that was get away from family, because like the rat race to getting more money only leads to being an awful person, sort of thing. So like you can understand where he's coming from.
I'm saying he's had some suffering. I'm just saying that not that he
right. But he is very entitled, and it's a very entitled opinion to like be like, I'm going to go away and then leave everyone behind.
He's never had bad. He's never suffered from nature, I guess, just people and the system. I guess you know what I mean.
Fair enough. I see.
So you can kind of side with him there, but also since he's so sheltered, he's an idiot. Like he has all these idealistic points of view that are just flat out wrong. He's just like, oh, you don't need money, you don't need things, and yet he bums food and rides from other people who are people that work for money. You need money.
That's well said.
That bothered me a lot, actually, because he burns his money, and then it's like, how did you think you were going to eat for the next 2 years?
Yeah.
And he's bumming food off the couple in the van, and
it makes me, it makes me so angry
like,
when he does that.
What if you didn't find the hippy dippy couple to pick you up, right? Like some other guy that was just like, I'm not buying you any food. I'll take you down the street. That's about it.
Yeah.
Like that's what would actually happen in real life, right?
Yeah.
Like you wouldn't find these peace-loving hippies being like, hey, man, jump right in, man. Hey, here's some chicken, bro. You're all good. Like that just wouldn't happen.
Chicken's free. You don't have to work for anything.
We don't work for this. Nah, you're good. We're good.
So yeah, the fact that he was such a hypocrite in that way reminded me of a lot of kids during and after college. You know, like people are stupid and you think you know everything after you read like books and whatnot, but you don't. You're an idiot. And it, you know, eventually leads to his death and stuff. But yeah, I thought the music was great. Emile Hirsch was great. You know, the scenery kind of is, I thought of like The Revenant a lot when watching this. Like a lot of the scenery stuff was really beautiful stuff.
Absolutely.
Didn't you guys like the way the film kind of made it seem soft too?
Yeah.
Like whatever they shot that on, like, I hope you have that written down, Denny, because I didn't do any research.
Handheld film.
Yeah. It was really just a nice, smooth feeling coming off. I don't know. It was good. I like it.
Yeah, and I agree that the soundtrack and everything blended really well with that.
Feels good to be positive, guys. Oh, man. Feels good to be positive.
We've had a couple movies.
And as you guys know, this is the type of movie that I love, right?
Yeah.
Movies about reality, not movies about fantasy.
Yeah, we don't know how real it was we can get into that too, but in terms of even how real the book was.
But it's a take on reality.
Right. No, the movie it doesn't feel contrived in the sense of it's like one thing's happening for another reason for the plot or something like that. So, and I know TC, a lot of us like the movies like that when we watch a movie like that you feel like more, you're just sort of like seeing things that happened as opposed to some kind of like, you know, one thing has to happen so another thing can happen to try to make you feel this way or that way.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've had a bunch of movies, Amanda, in the last like 3 weeks or so where we all were kind of negative on them. So it's really nice to at least have some positive things to say about this one.
Yeah, no, I agree. The whole movie was
it's really
shot.
nice to have Amanda be like the negative one first.
But yeah, no, I thought the scenery and everything was beautiful. I mean, that was one of my favorite parts of it is like, you know, he's driving west and it's just portraying like the Western U.S. as a beautiful place. And how much do you love that Vince Vaughn was a farmer in South Dakota?
And he was so funny. I mean, when that shot when it just cuts to him laughing is hysterical. Just him laughing. I was laughing. Like it's just.
I had a note about that being like, holy crap, is that a real laugh? That's so forced.
Yeah, I know, but it was still funny.
Yeah.
I don't know. It worked because it's just a bunch of hooligans hanging out making fun of each other, right?
Yeah.
The one thing that I did also find kind of interesting is just like seeing all the LA stuff and then them making LA just look like fucking shit.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's just like it makes you feel like it's like, oh yeah, I know the spot. I know that spot. Oh man, you're right. LA sucks. Oh man, this place sucks. You know what I'm sitting there watching? Like this is like my next, backyard. I'm like, yeah, fuck this. I want to leave now too. You know, so.
Start wandering into the woods.
Where's my backpack?
Yeah, I need boots. Anyone got boots?
I forgot to bring my boots and I threw away all my stuff.
Yeah,
no
it's
worry.
cold in Alaska, right?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
he went to like a food bank and like a place to sleep. And you're like, dude, this isn't free. People are spending money on you right now, you asshole.
Right. I know. That's a good point.
But it wasn't trying to make him like I mean, it kind of did, but I kind of like Naomi was also annoyed by it, and she was like annoyed by the movie because of his character. But I think we kind of talked her way through it, and she's not as annoyed by the movie. She likes the idea that the movie's about this type of person that would go into the woods and die. Someone who's dumb and selfish.
Well, right, because the movie allows us to see the rest of what goes on outside of when people are like that, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Which I like. So,
yeah. So, John, what do you think? You kind of said you're positive, right?
Well, I'm echoing all you guys' sentiments. I think my favorite thing about this movie is just how is the sort of kindness of the people around him, and they see that he's a smart, misguided kid. You know, they sort of see that and treat him kindly. And they're
sympathetic to him because they almost feel sorry for him.
Yeah, or some of them have sort of in different ways. They're people that are a little bit estranged from the norm. You know, like Vaughn's character, he's like complete crook. You know, did
we learn what he was doing?
No, we never find out what happened, what he did, right?
No, I just assumed it was like money scams, not,
Amanda, you read the book, you said?
Yeah.
It was a long time ago.
Okay.
I can't quite remember what he was doing, but it was something serious.
On the Wikipedia, it says he was selling counterfeit like satellites or something.
Yeah, that's what I remember.
Oh, right,
reading.
right. Yeah, they mentioned it in the movie. Like,
Oh.
They showed these like set-top boxes or something, and they mentioned satellite like
I
boxes.
missed that completely.
No, they didn't.
Yeah,
say,
I kind of did too.
Yeah, I didn't say exactly what it was.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But sorry, yeah.
I think there's just such a warmth in this movie, even though this guy is stupid in some sense. But I had these stupid idealistic things when I was a young kid in college too. I didn't have the guts or the ignorance or whatever to actually act on some of those things. But so I think that's what I really like about the movie is just there's such a warmth and kindness in how these different people relate to him, or at least try to help him out. And it's a very uplifting sort of feeling. I think and maybe some people see this movie and think that they're portraying him heroically.
If you're younger, I could see him being like someone to idolize, I think.
Right.
Until you're like,
going,
you need permits for a river because rivers need maintaining. And if you let anyone go down them, it'll destroy the river and destroy wilderness, you idiot.
Right.
Sorry.
Yeah, that was. Yeah, you're right. I mean,
we're such the adults here.
I know.
We're so old. Like, what are you, 90? If we were 20, we'd be like, it's awesome, man. Screw the system.
Right.
Fuck my parents. I'm out of here. Oh, you need a permit? What's a permit? You know?
Yeah. So exactly. I think that's what's so great. I mean, he I guess that site people make the 2-day trek to the bus as a pilgrimage. To honor him.
He was only 2 days away from people.
Well, that's what I think Amanda was getting at right at the beginning. Was like how close he really was to society still, even though he
wasn't that far. He had that truck just drop him off, and then he kind of walked across the river and up a snowplow.
He was found by moose hunters, right? So he wasn't that far from something. I swear I read somewhere the first time I saw this, and I couldn't find it again, that he was basically like within 20 to 30 miles of like a road. Which
is kind of far by foot, I guess.
It's kind of far, but I mean,
snowy?
moose hunters like walked and found his body, so it's like someone's getting up there somehow,
Yeah,
so.
and he wasn't like he was at the top of a mountain or anything either, and it was.
So if Homeboy had been starting to feel sick and just started walking back to where he came from, he would have been fine.
He couldn't cross the river, I think, right?
Oh,
right. The spring melts.
Yeah. Again, another controversial idea there, but yeah.
Also, another dumb move. Like, what happens when the summer comes? Like, all the ice melts, you idiot.
And also, I thought it was stupid when he was in the middle of winter with just a backpack on, and he's like, "Oh, there's a river here. Time to walk straight through the river, even though it's cold outside."
Yeah, I'm reading like 16 miles away from a major road.
Okay, so 16. So that's pretty close.
That's really close.
That's really close. Yeah,
you could do that in a long day, right?
Hey, it's like walking from the west side to the right past downtown LA. Like,
it means you could probably get to the top of a hill and see the traffic, kind of thing.
Right. You could probably hear the traffic still.
Yeah.
But I think that's one of the more interesting parts about this is that he actually made it through winter or wherever he wanted to, and then tried to leave. And think of how this whole story would have changed if he would have been able to. I mean, it wouldn't have been a story, right? No one would have cared.
I guess if he hadn't have died. Yeah,
right.
If he just came back
actually could have made it out of there, like, that one point that, he goes to the river and it's just not a stream anymore. It's a river, like,
That's an interesting point. Yeah, I mean, I think that if it didn't end the way it did, would the book have ever been written? Nothing would have happened, right? And he had probably gone on and gotten a regular old job and slowly turned into his dad.
Was like, that sucked. I gotta go do something. Yeah.
So do you think, how after Cheryl strayed and wrote that book and the movie came out and then everyone went to hike the Pacific Crest Trail, did that happen here where like all these people were trying to go out and live in Alaska, or maybe because this was a lot earlier that didn't happen?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if there was a lot of, I mean, there was a bunch of different, when this movie came out, even you wonder, I think it is like a tourist attraction now, that bus.
Oh yeah. I found a bunch of pictures with people in front of the bus, and it's super creepy.
That's so weird.
Yeah, especially since he had the camera that he took a picture of himself, and it's out there,
And didn't they throw in some film footage? It looked like that was real footage.
Yeah,
I think it is.
Yeah.
The one picture of him is real, I think.
And by the way, I see that picture and I go, "Fuck, is that me?" Like I'm gonna set this up. Like I sent a picture to my sister, and she's like, "Holy shit."
That's my
like,
last note,
is that
TC.
me?
Yeah, it was TC exclamation
It's
point.
like, look at him. He's right there.
Yeah.
It's like, holy shit, man.
So
That's
Amanda,
some
if you're
fucked up
wondering
shit.
what TC looks like, look at the last frame of this movie.
Look
It's
at, he
exactly.
looks like, yeah.
It's I showed my mom last night. She's like, Jesus Christ, I forgot about that. You're right. I mean, it's uncanny. I was looking at a photo of myself, and I had one screen with the photo on the big one. I had my photo on the other one for my Facebook, and I was like, oh my God, this is weird. And I got the beard and the same structure. It's,
Yeah. You smile the same way as that guy
I
does
know.
too.
That's
Doppelganger, dude.
Yeah.
Doppelganger.
Don't go to the woods, man. Don't eat the mushrooms.
I'm not that stupid. Yeah, I live in the concrete jungle, not the real.
Wait. Do
Yeah.
you have a beard now? I don't think I've seen you with a beard.
you
oh,
weren't
yeah.
at the wedding, John. You weren't at the wedding.
Oh,
No, I
that's
wasn't
right.
at the wedding.
Yo, John, it was so interesting because I was there for a good 2 hours before anyone recognized me. And I wasn't saying anything. I was kind of hungover too, and I was like setting up Denny's audio, and I was like, whatever. And like people were walking by me, all of Denny's friends, his brother, and then no one noticed me. And then finally, I sat down at like a table, so I'm like, "What's up, guys?" They're like, "Hey, what's going on?" Well, blah blah. I'm like, "Yeah, I know, it's TC." They're like, "Holy shit, I didn't notice you with the beard." But yeah, it's basically me now on that image. It's kind of weird. That's definitely weird.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm trying to think of any other thoughts on the movie.
I have a lot of thoughts on the plot. If you guys have no more general thoughts on the movie,
I'm trying to think. I mean, I think I liked all of the all the small parts in there were well done. So that all was like just kind of fun to watch him. Oh, Zach Galifianakis is in there.
Yeah, he
was
is.
the hunter
Yeah,
guy.
he's the weird dude. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that was showing him talking about how to hunt.
yeah,
Man, he looked older at that point.
I forgot about that. Which is the crazy
Yeah, I had a-
part, because that's all the education he had about shooting animals and gutting them was from this guy on a South Dakota farm for like an hour.
Yeah.
You know?
From Zach, you get your hunting advice from Zach Galifianakis. I don't know, he might be in trouble.
It's
I
funny
did
because
not
they
catch
didn't
that.
really show him that well. Like it wasn't obvious unless you knew his voice a little bit and the way his mannerisms were.
no, I wrote
didn't
down as
recognize
a
it.
question. I was like, is that Gak Galifianakis? Is that who that is?
Gak.
Yeah, I had to look it up. So it's definitely hard to tell, but because he doesn't do his weird high pitch. His voice was a little high. I don't know. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
But also, like he learns the things, and he kind of dilly dallies when he actually kills the moose. He's like carrying the head around. He like plays with a heart in his hand. You're like, dude, you heard the guy. It's an hour. He should have first of all set up all that cooking stuff before killing the moose. If he's starving and he has free time, set up all that smoking stuff beforehand. You know. Instead of trying to build it when the moose is dead and rotting. I don't know.
Hey, so like prep. That's a thing.
Yeah.
I mean, you didn't learn that in college. I mean, how'd you get through it? Like you seem like a smart kid. Prep.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just also was impressed. I hadn't seen this movie before. I didn't know what to expect from Sean Penn as far as being a director, and it's really pretty much well done. So, way to go, Sean.
Way to go, Sean.
Yeah.
Maybe come back
To
to movies
direct-
and leave books behind.
Sean Penn who do stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. All right.
Another part, a lot of these are just parts that kind of made me angry. When his parents are like, let's get you a new car. And he's like, why would I need a new car? I was like, because your car is a
Yeah.
piece of shit, dude. Look at it. It is a crappy car.
I thought they did show the sort of tension in the family pretty well on those scenes, though. I kind of like that. Not that I liked it, the tension, but I thought that was well done, like showing this sort of like just this pattern of like, oh God, here's the kid not wanting the car now, and just the way they were interacting with each other, I thought was well done, showing this sort of like pattern of them trying to do stuff for him, not understanding him getting annoyed.
Yeah, I mean, but that's the typical like situation of rich people, right? They're like, no, let me get you a new car. It's like, no, how about we do something that we both like? That'd be more fun, right?
Yeah.
I think he should have taken the car because his car was a piece of shit. Like someone grab the kid and shake it back and forth. You have $24,000 in the bank. It's 1970. You're loaded, right? Like Jesus. But at the same time, he's a spoiled little brat that hates his dad, and his mom's annoying because all she thinks about is the money. That stupid shot of her in the film with her doing the little cha-ching sign, like that's all she thinks about.
Yeah.
Like, no wonder why he's doing it. He's doing it because they're idiots, not because the car sucks. He knows the car sucks.
Yeah. I love the way she, the mother character plays that too. The line when he comes into dinner, she says something very, very low key, annoying or passive aggressive or something. Where she's like, "Oh, we didn't think you would ever show up," and she says it in a way where it's kind of like it's not harsh enough where you want to start an argument right away, but you probably feel bad.
It's just one of 1,000 digs she probably puts out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. Yeah, she always plays a bad guy in movies.
Yeah, she does kind of play like an evil character. Or not evil, but just kind of like a I don't know what you would call that.
I don't know either.
Ooh.
Annoying.
Annoying. Let's go with
character.
annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or as Amanda said, aggravating. It's a second aggravating character in this.
Yeah.
Well, Amanda, what else did you like about this film? As far as like the film side of it.
Yeah, and you've seen it 3 times.
I have too.
purpose.
This
I
is my
know.
third time. This was my third time too.
So you think I would hate it, but I didn't hate it. Just the character was very frustrating to me. But
Yeah.
what did I like about? I mean, I think all the scenes were shot really well. I enjoyed the scenery of the United States, and I thought the story was very powerful. I thought it flowed very well from the present to the flashbacks, and the end I thought was really powerful. How you see him gradually just like deteriorating, and then it's flashing back to his family. And I think that was just really strong because it's like they're however far away, they have no idea what's happening to him. And even if he did, regret how he treated them and this action, there is absolutely no way anybody can help him. And,
Right.
I just thought that was powerful how it's flashing back to everybody that he did interact with along the way, the crazy Swedish or Danish people that were on the river, they're at the casino
they were
or something.
so funny. Yeah, they were so funny.
And yeah.
But I like her. He kept saying
Yeah.
this.
They were hilarious. But
Yeah.
no, I think the plot was very strong, and the storyline, it was just the character and his utter, his privilege and, lack of understanding of, money and the value of even if he didn't want it, he could have given it to somebody, not burn
Well,
it
he
on the side
did.
of the road.
He did the 24,000 or whatever. But
sure. But he burned the
I think
cash.
the good part about it is that it kind of comes full circle, right? Like you're seeing all these other people realize what importance it is to have a connection to someone, even if it's a stranger. And then it takes him this awful destruction to realize that everyone needs that, right? So there is such a nice feeling from the rest of the characters that I almost think that that's more of the point of this movie's story. I don't know what the book was really like, but
I read generally it's darker, and he's a
I
worse
wouldn't doubt
person
that.
from the book.
yeah. Damn.
Oh.
So he was just a shithead, and everyone else around him just wanted to help people. Like, that's what it sounds like.
Yeah, it's very possible. When he's swimming with Catherine Kinnear, what's going on there? That was confusing to
I
me.
was wondering that too. I'm like, he's kind of teetering on the edge of being a weirdo here.
Yeah, but she was into it, and so was the husband.
Well, the husband was just like, I know this woman. She's, I've known her forever. This kid's just a kid.
Are they just,
And I don't know.
we're just supposed to think they're having
something in
fun
them.
together? Is that like as far as that is?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's supposed to be innocent.
Innocent.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so. And we don't know what happened in her past. Like, I thought somehow she lost a kid, right? Is that what happened?
I
It
think they
seemed
don't
kinda
talk
like that.
anymore.
Oh,
is that what it was?
That's what I thought.
I
That's
got
what it
dead
seemed
too
like.
for some reason.
Wasn't there like doesn't he remind you of him? I was thinking the same thing. There's some kind of like line like that
Past
in the
tense.
movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought I caught something like that, but I don't know.
Yeah, unsure
Interesting.
as well.
Where'd they get all the books? Where did the book stand come from? All of a sudden, they're like selling books in this podunk town. What was that about?
I don't know.
Was
Where
it
did
in
the
their
books come
car
from?
all the time?
Was it? It's all they got space for is the books. I mean, it seemed like they had a lot of books, right? I mean, it's like, I don't know.
Maybe they robbed a bookstore somewhere along the line.
I mean, dude, that's all I could think about in that scene when they're sitting there talking. I'm like, where do all these books come from? Since when are they a library? I don't know.
And also, how did he find them again?
Yeah,
I
true.
don't know.
He's like, oh, it's you guys. And you're like, wait a minute. You
Yeah.
guys bumped into each other again?
Yeah, good point.
Yeah, that was confusing.
That was a little confusing.
What did you guys think about?
Unless he knew where they were going to be or something. I can't remember.
I don't know. It was like they were surprised when he came. They're like, oh,
But
hey,
they were
it's
in a
you.
place. They were in a place that they were maybe going. I don't know, like a destination. I
Yeah.
don't fucking care. Who
I
cares?
don't know. What did you guys think about Emile Hirsch looking into the camera a couple times that he did?
Breaking the wall, huh?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I wasn't a fan, just to put that out there. I don't know.
No, I
Yeah.
didn't. I just dismissed it as like, It didn't seem to bother me too much. But yeah,
It is an
I just
interesting
sort of-
choice because there wasn't any reason for it to happen.
Yeah. It's not like he was filming himself at any point,
Well, that's not true.
isn't it?
Because in the book, and then we have the footage of the kid doing that. Maybe this is part of it.
Oh.
That's like their reference to the fact that he would do
So
that.
he was doing photos or stuff like that.
Right, yeah.
Kind
I
of
don't
makes
know.
sense.
That's
I
the only
guess.
thing I could think of as it being, because otherwise it's just an actor being a prick. Like I told you not to look at the camera,
Yeah.
right? Like, what are you doing? You just
I know.
ruined the whole take.
I'd worry if Sean Penn was directing, I'd worry he'd like beat me up or something. He didn't do it right, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, he's probably like sitting there being like, Emile, one day I'm going to write a book called Bob Honey Who Do Stuff. And the kid looked it right in the camera. He's like, all right, sounds good.
So Kristen Stewart plays a 16-year-old in this movie. Her character is 16 years old. How old do you think she is in real life when she's filming this movie?
21.
Yes, John?
18.
Amanda?
I'm gonna say 14.
14.
No
Wow.
way.
Ooh,
I'm going to give the
going
points to Amanda.
low.
She was 16. She was the same age as she
Wait,
was.
really? She looked older.
I thought she looked older too. I don't know.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
all overbid.
Yeah.
Way to go,
Yeah.
Amanda.
To be safe. Yeah.
I wanted to be safe. I was like, I'm
Yeah.
going 21. I'm not going any younger. I thought it was a little weird they were having a little relationship, though, because he is much older. He's in his 20s at
Yeah.
that point, right? Because he's
Right.
already graduated. So
Yeah.
it's fucked up.
Yeah.
Right. Well, he played the gentleman in the end and did the song duet with her, even though she was offering herself to him. So, you know.
Do
True.
any of you know of a movie where Kristen Stewart is in it and she doesn't play Kristen Stewart?
Didn't she have that horror film? She where she was like some kind of like evil person, maybe.
That's very vague.
Yeah, that's a good one, John. Yeah, she did that. Definitely.
Yeah,
I
give
always
me
get her-
time. Give
I
me
get her
time.
She was in Adventureland. I don't know. That's kind of Kristen Stewart-y
Yeah.
role, though.
She always does the thing where like
Ah.
she dips her head down and her hair goes over her eyes and she puts her hand over her mouth in a kind of little ball thing. And she's like kind of an emo Kristen Stewart in every movie she's in.
Huh.
It's weird.
I get her mixed
Yeah.
up with the one
Yeah.
from Donnie Darko a lot.
Oh, she was also in this
that was
movie.
the sister.
Jenna Malone.
That was the sister.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. They're sisters?
no.
Well, that was Alexander Supertramp's sister.
Oh. I meant like
Yeah.
real life. I was like, damn,
Oh,
they're
no,
fucking
no.
sisters? Oh, shit. The last name's not the same. Damn. I mean, they just look alike, even though they're way different in age. But
No, yeah, and I got her confused. It wasn't. I'm going to just be more vague, but whoever the girl that was in the Transformers movies early on, that was the
Megan
one that did
Fox.
the horror thing. Yeah, she was in
Oh,
some
really?
horror film, right?
you got her mixed
So-
up with Megan Fox?
I don't
I
know
don't
about
know.
that one.
I don't know, but I'm with you, Amanda.
I know. I'm just things happen.
You
in my
said
head
more
and I
vague,
just
John.
say
That was
stuff.
definitely less vague. You narrowed it down to one person
Yeah,
saying
that was very
horror movie
specific.
evil villain. That's very, very broad.
No, I was still vague about what the movie was, but
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah.
I was also vague about all I could say was Transformers girl. So you guys had to fill in.
There's
the
much
Megan
less
Fox for me.
Transformers movies than there are horror movies. We can agree on that,
That's fair. That is
Yeah,
fair. You're right.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
So I
all
was
right.
less vague. You are right.
right? Yes. That's all I go for.
That's all
I
I
get
want
to win.
Yes.
I thought it was
Yes.
weird how I thought that the river that he crossed and got bigger was really far away from his bus. But then when he was dying or dead or something, when it zoomed out, the river was right there. It was right there. It was like 20 feet away. It was through some maybe 5 trees and it was right there. And I thought he had to
Interesting.
trek to it and he didn't realize it because from where it was, he would have been able to hear the raging rapids from inside the bus. But he
Like,
seemed
oh shit, I'm
surprised.
fucked. Listen
You
to that
could
shit, I'm
see- I
screwed.
don't remember like you could see the river from the bus with the way they framed it that second time.
And you couldn't see it
Is that what you're
because there
saying?
was trees. No, so there were trees
Yeah.
in between the bus and the river, but there was a helicopter shot or a drone shot at the end that kind of is zooming out when he dies or close to when he's dying, and you get to see where the bus is in relationship to the river, and it's literally 30 to 50 feet away. It is right there. And I thought it was weird
Wow.
because I had the idea that the river was far enough away where he had to hike to go check it out. Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
I
Hello?
hadn't put
Hello?
those two together. Hey.
Yeah,
Bueller?
my assumptions were wrong, I guess, and it seems strange.
Or it's just a
I don't know.
filmmaker's cut in the corner.
Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah.
I also thought it was weird when he was the river was there and he looked like he was going in the river and then he fell in and then he crawled back. He's like, oh God. And then crawled back out.
Yeah.
I thought that might have been the end. I didn't know how he died. So I was like, oh, he's about to get back to civilization, and then he dies.
And he's going to just wither away.
But no.
The bear doesn't attack him. Was it because he didn't have any meat or because the bear could sense that he was smelly or what? What was the,
Like, this guy's diseased. He's withering away.
can they
Yeah.
sense
No good.
diseases?
No, I don't know.
He was supposed to eat poison, so I don't know, maybe not edible.
Yeah. Yeah. He smelled
Yeah.
the mushrooms maybe and the bear knows.
Right, he looked at him. He's like, "There's not much to you. It's not going to do me any good.
Yeah.
Moving on."
So I thought,
Shit.
Amanda, when you were talking about him, Hal Holbrook's or Ron's character, when he asks the Emile Hirsch character to let him adopt him, my thought of his reaction to that wasn't that he wanted to like slap him. I thought he like wanted to like cry or something because he's like that's all he wanted in
But he
the world.
did cry.
Oh yeah, I meant I wanted to slap the character.
Gotcha. Okay. I thought you meant that like the Hal
That's-
Holbrook guy got pissed and he was like,
Oh, no.
stupid kid.
That all makes sense.
Yeah.
That all
And
makes
that's I like that too, even though it pissed me off, just because it shows him how selfish his character is. He's like, I'll never die. Like, and this guy will never die. Like, who cares?
At the same time, you're like, I already had parents. They're awful. I don't need another one. I mean,
Yeah.
that's how I thought he took it.
But I think the guy just wants his name to go down, right? He wouldn't have to like stay at his house or
well,
anything.
right. Yeah,
Oh.
but then it becomes just more selfishness, I guess, right? That's
Yeah.
a good point.
Yeah, and he's like making assumptions, not even thinking about it. He's like, ha ha ha, you're not old.
Yeah.
You're never gonna
He's like,
die.
hey, old man, this is about me here, okay?
Yeah.
I'm going to keep walking.
I'm gonna
all
make you
right?
climb up a cliff, even though you might
Yeah.
die because you're so old. I'm not thinking
Hey,
about
but you know
this.
what? That motivated him, and it did, and it was good. It's not bad. He might actually travel. Get the fuck out of his leather-making room.
It seemed like a pretty peaceful lifestyle. I don't know.
He likes sedentary.
Yeah, some people do. He
Yeah,
seemed to.
that's true.
I don't know.
That's a good point.
So how did he come to the realization that happiness was like the true meaning of life with other people? Because he didn't seem to get that at any point. It was just that one passage of that one book he was reading when he was dying just kind of changed.
No, I
his
think it was
entire-
just him realizing as he's dying he can't leave that he was missing all these people.
when he was by himself when he wasn't dying, though, he didn't miss the people.
Right.
That's weird.
Yeah. Well, he was, like you said, he was fucked up, entitled, and not thinking it through, right?
And
Like
maybe
just
after,
doing like
maybe after like, several months all alone, maybe he started to miss people a little bit. I mean, certainly
true.
he found some people he liked. Like he was writing letters to the Vince Vaughn character and so forth. Like kind of was looking up a little bit to those people, and maybe maybe that plus being all alone might have. I don't know. I mean, that's maybe kind of the idea. I guess it's something that Krakauer seems to want us to think too in the book, and in that he comes to this realization that there's like before he dies that there's something to be had in the company of people. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if in the book that comes across better.
I think about the same, but yeah, I agree with what you're saying. And that's what I was trying to touch on before, that I think it was just, the realization that he's not invincible. And now
Right.
there's no turning back at that point, and realizing, I think he realized, in the end that this was just a massive misdirection that he took here, and it's done,
Yeah, he finally grew up. He finally grew the
Right.
fuck up, right? Like
Hey, whoops.
when you do that stuff in regular life, it's like, then you realize, oh fuck, these kind of mistakes last forever, right? Like that's when you become an adult.
Yeah. Or he should have just learned to like bring a satellite phone. Like you can burn your money, do whatever. Just bring a satellite phone and some extra batteries. That's all you need.
Well, yeah. Actually,
Yeah.
Mel, back then, this is what, the 70s? Might be a little
70s,
harder.
yeah. There wasn't
Yeah.
any sat phones.
I thought it was 93, wasn't it?
I'm going 70s.
Well,
No,
Danny
it was
said
93.
70s
It was
only about the
93.
money.
You're right, because he
And
wrote
93.
he wrote that in the passage.
I gotcha.
1992.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm going 70s. Hey, listeners, it was 70s.
I think that sat phones did exist in the 70s because of like, World War II and Vietnam and stuff.
Well, yeah, but
Oh,
you have
you
to have a
like
whole
crank-
radio pack on your
crank
bed,
shit?
and then you got one of those people are going to be shelling you because that's
'Cause-
that's the way it goes
That's
with
true.
those.
yeah.
John, you're right. You're
So
right.
92
You're right.
though.
I'm
Satellite
going
phone.
70s.
Bring one.
70s.
Yeah.
Whatever.
70s.
That's just no. It's not 70s. It's 90s.
I know. I'm an idiot. What do you want? I told you guys I make noise. That's all I'm here for.
So that's it I have for the movie. Do any of you have any other thoughts before we get into trivia and stuff?
No, I think
not
we covered it. Anything else, Amanda, that you can think of, or TC? You guys are the ones that watched this many times.
Yeah, I
No.
I don't.
Oh,
have
I did
much. Go
actually
ahead,
have a
Amanda.
question. What was the deal? Like the movie opens with the mother waking up and like screaming about the kid, right?
Oh,
Having nightmares. What was that about? Like that was really confusing, I thought.
I assume that's the day he dies.
Really?
Yeah, just a bookend sort of thing, but I don't know.
Oh, like she felt it.
Yeah,
Spiritual shit.
It seemed like she
Yeah,
had been
yeah.
having the nightmares before though, or something.
right. Yeah, I don't know. That's what I sort of guessed, but I had no idea. I mean, that's in looking back on it, but I have no idea. I don't know. TC, Amanda?
I got nothing. I remember that
no,
part. So.
I think we covered it.
Yeah. So, and also, in terms of weird people crying and stuff, when he like walks into Alaska, it cuts to his parents crying, and he hasn't even died yet. So, like, what?
But he was missing at that point, or he hadn't. Did they get the letters already, or then, or I can't remember.
I don't know. Like, the dad walks out of the house and goes into the street and just like starts crying. I'm like, wait a minute, what? Why is he
Was
crying?
that 1970?
Nice.
I'm just gonna keep making. Yeah, my
I'm
mistake.
gonna assume that there's no answer to these questions. And move on. Yeah.
Yeah, there's no answer.
So yeah, trivia time. And so I did the wrong thing apparently by looking up the differences between this and the book, which there aren't many.
Oh.
So I thought that this was a completely true story, but it sounds like the book might not have been entirely true.
So they embellished a little, huh?
Well, I don't know. There's one reporter in Alaska that has written some things sort of about how Krakauer got it wrong and has made stuff up. And I don't know. It's not certainly like there's a lot of controversy. Krakauer sort of has his own podium to speak from and writes to the New Yorker, or I mean, certainly people really listen to him because he's written a fair number of books, and he prides himself on doing his research too. So there's maybe a little there's one reporter in Alaska who thinks differently. So
interesting.
Maybe he's just trying to grab some of the spotlight.
Yeah, I mean, I was just reading through the article, and he seemed to have points. It was Anchorage Daily News, and he wrote
great outfit,
name?
By the way. Oh, beautiful.
Craig Medred is the author who just wrote this book called The Fiction That Is John Krakauer's Into the Wild.
Well, I mean,
any good lines,
book,
John? Any
right?
good lines? Yeah, it is a book, but it might not be true. Who knows? I have to say.
Was it like marketed as a true story all the way across the board? Or?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, just that. According to him, like that, just a lot of stuff was just inferred by Krakauer. There really wasn't much in the journals to go on, and that Krakauer just filled in quite a bit of stuff.
So at the very least, though, both Krakauer and Sean Penn worked with the parents of this Candlelist guy, and also the sister, and the sister wrote a book.
Right.
So I mean, at least collaborating with all those people, and there are certain things like the magic bus did exist, as we talked about.
Exactly. I know. It's not like it's not entirely fabricated. It's more around kind of. I think in particular what this guy was focusing on was more around what his actual thoughts were and what he was feeling or going through when he was in the bus and no one else was around.
How does he know
Rather
that?
than well, because that's true. That's a good point. How do you? But I think you can kind of think about what you would feel like if you were stuck. I guess.
He's like, I'm from Alaska. I know how people think up here. Therefore, this book is false.
Right.
Yeah.
So one of the things he said too is that the river would never have been so. The Anchorage Daily News guys thinks his theory is that Chris ate mushrooms and got poisoned by mushrooms.
I don't think that's a theory. I think that was true, right?
Well, no, it was a berry or something, right?
It was more like mixing up plants that he shouldn't have initially, and then Krakauer later decided it was a certain kind of mold growing on the plants that may have killed him. That led to sort of this, and yeah, who knows what really did it or whatever. I mean, I don't think it necessarily kills a lot of the other parts of the story regardless. I think, but more when you get into this idea of what was he thinking, and there also some of those books that were in the bus may not have been his. So the underlines and the passages, whatever that were read, may not have been his either. So just more speculation again about what was in his head and what was he thinking during that time. But again, Krakauer's, I mean, I haven't read Into the Wild. I read Under the Banner of Heaven, which is the book he wrote about the Lafferty brothers and the Mormon Church, and it's pretty amazing and very well detailed. And he certainly prides himself on that sort of thing. But
yeah,
anyway.
who cares what he was thinking about when he was dying? The whole like the rest of the story is the movie,
You do wonder, did he come? Did what were those moments like, and did he come to that realization or not about happiness being shared, being important, and all of that stuff?
Probably not. There's no way they guessed that correctly, right? He's probably just like, holy crap, I'm hungry. This sucks.
Yeah, I'm miserable. Help me. Yeah.
Right.
I hope so.
Wish I had a few bucks.
I'm feeling especially thoughtful right now as I starve to death.
Yeah.
Are you capable of thinking like cohesive thoughts if you're dying slowly? Probably not.
Probably not.
No, at some point you're going to be delirious. And so you're not you're probably not going to be making a lot of sense at some point.
Probably not be reading books, I don't know.
Yeah, you're probably not going to flip out when a bear shows up, I mean, geez.
So yeah, making of stuff. There's no commentary, but there was a good making of. Eddie Vedder was in it, which was pretty funny.
Yeah,
into the Eddie Vedder, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he actually read the story, which is why he signed on. He was like, "Oh, I love this story." So,
I thought he's like signed on before even knowing what it was about. Because Sean Penn, hey, I'm doing this movie. You want to do this music? And he's like,
that's not what he said. He said he read the story and he loved the story so much.
There's a trivia section on IMDb that's wrong, man.
Maybe he's lying. I don't know. Sometimes this happens.
There was no source for it.
I mean, there's a top 250 list that's wrong too. So I don't know.
The character of Rainey, who was Catherine Kinnear's like boyfriend guy, was there before any of the scenes with Catherine Kinnear and him. They were shooting the kayaking scenes going down the river, and he was the kayak trainer, and they hadn't cast that character yet. And Emile Hirsch is like, hey, what about this guy? This guy kind of looks like who you're looking for. And he wasn't an actor or anything, but they ended up convincing him to do the role.
Interesting.
Yeah. Not an actor.
Not an actor.
The guy who sings the song at that weird redneck festival type thing.
Oh, yeah, that guy.
He's like, kiss
else.
my ass. Like that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His name is Insane Wayne in real life.
I love it. Of course it is. What would it be?
He was
Otherwise.
in prison, and Sean Penn talked to the prison and got him released to shoot that scene for a day.
Oh, and then he went back?
Only him.
Because he's famous, apparently. Wow. Or famous. He's known in that, like, out in the middle of nowhere area for being, like, for doing that, for singing at this thing. So they needed to get Insane Wayne, which is...
Wow.
So that's Sean Penn. He's got some sway.
He's got some pull.
Yeah.
Except, he doesn't get maybe a ghostwriter. I don't know.
And also, the guy who showed them the rocks, he's kind of a skinny old guy who's like, oh, I love living here, living out in the middle of nowhere. This is just the best place to be, sort of thing. You know that part?
Yeah.
That guy also is real, just exists. They put him in the movie for the sake of kind of having a tour across the United States.
So Slab City is a real thing.
Yeah. And that guy is the real curator of it. He's been making it for 20 years.
Huh.
Wow.
Lives out there. Yeah. The bus was a replica bus. They went to the real one and considered shooting there, but Sean Penn deemed the conditions too hard to shoot.
That was smart.
Yeah. But then if you read other things, like he says that in the making of, but then you read things and he's like, oh, we wanted to respect the area where he died. And you're like, which one is it, Sean Penn? Which one is it? Can only be one.
Hollywood felt like a little hearing first,
Yeah.
That's all.
Sean Penn as a director treats himself as any other person. Like he doesn't have a fancier trailer. He doesn't excuse himself from like getting wet or any of the harder things that people have to do, which led to like the crew having more, camaraderie and feeling like everyone was doing it together. So everyone worked harder, sort of thing.
Hey, that's cool.
Yeah. All of the places were real. So like all the places where they were representing, they actually went to that location and filmed there, even though it would have been much cheaper they said to go to Utah and find places that looked similar because Utah is good for that, apparently. 156 pounds to guess. How thin do you think he was?
Oh, man.
Oh.
He started at 156. That was the heaviest he was.
Which is already little. I mean, he's a short little dude.
He is.
So let's say he got to 80.
Yeah, I'll go 93.
I'll say 95.
Oh. Are we playing Price is Right rules?
How skinny could he
bit
get?
high.
He can't get that thin.
I don't know. Are we going
You guys went too
what do
low.
I get if I win?
115.
way too low?
really?
That's probably still dangerous.
It's
right?
all right,
He
Amanda.
looks so
Amanda, it
thin.
was 1970 and he's 95 pounds. All right, that's what happened.
Nice.
Don't let him bring you down.
So could you lose that many pounds in 8 months? That's not healthy, right? That's like
Crazy.
Yeah, not only like that many pounds, but that percentage of his body weight because he's so small to begin with,
Oh, he's tiny.
Yeah.
He's tiny.
Yeah, some of the scenes were shot in the exact same places, like where the flash flood was, where his car got destroyed in real life. That really happened. And where they shot the car was where the car was found, exactly in that spot.
Wow.
There was a bar they went to called Cabaret in the movie that was the exact same location. They did that a lot. And the making of kind of goes over a lot of those things.
It's what gives the film such a genuine feel, maybe, in terms of like, I don't know, just like you're going on this sort of road trip where you're actually feeling like you're seeing these locations, which is pretty nice.
Did it make you guys want to camp at all? Did you get an urge?
Yeah,
Yes.
for sure.
Yeah. This movie
Yeah.
actually, we're planning a camping trip now because watching this movie. We're like, we should really just book a camping trip right now because that's going to be
Yeah.
fun.
Hey, let's make sure maybe there's like bathrooms nearby or something,
Yeah.
No big deal.
Bring a sat phone.
Right.
Make sure to bring the
Yeah.
sat phone.
Yeah. Maybe some GPS locators. I don't know.
So he wore like the same pair of jeans the entire movie, but there were 25 pairs of them all sized differently to make him look different weights throughout the movie.
Really? That's
Yeah.
fucking badass.
Yeah.
Go to Ross Dress for Less. Get as many of these as you can.
But they only have 4 sizes.
It doesn't matter. Get them all, baby. Get them all.
TC will appreciate this. A lot of practical sound was used.
No, I thought so. I could hear that. Actually.
Almost
there wasn't
no-
a lot of ADR.
Yeah, almost no ADR, almost no like sound effects added for like atmosphere, wind, anything like that. They had mics
Yeah, I
hidden
know.
and stuff.
No footsteps. There was none of that.
It's good. Extra effort
Yeah,
apparently.
it is good. No, and what it is it bodes well for the sound team because it's very, everyone starts out and they all record sound on set, and you try your best to make sure that it's the smoothest. But at the end of the day, you've got set noise, you've got other issues, and you just sometimes can't use the stuff. It's not that you don't want to; it's just it's not usable. So the sound team was obviously pretty good because I didn't notice anything that needed to be fixed.
Yeah.
It all was very crisp and clear.
Yeah. And speaking of that, it was pretty funny. The scene where Kinnear and Hirsch are in the water playing together. They had behind the scenes footage of that. There are about 12 to 15 people besides them in the water up to their chests holding all the shit like above the waves.
Oh.
Just getting the scene. It looked completely insane. But I mean, you can't tell when you're watching the movie, I guess.
Yeah.
And the last piece of trivia I think I had was that it took Sean Penn read the book like immediately after it came out, went and bought the rights to it immediately. But the parents didn't give him permission to make the movie until 10 years afterwards because they weren't ready. So he kind of
Oh wow.
sat on it for a while. But they did. And I mean, it's kind of, I don't know, what do you guys think? They're portrayed horribly in the book and in the movie, and their kid is dead. That's pretty weird of them to do. I don't know if brave is the right word. I think it's kind of strange.
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, it's not flattering. And the book isn't very flattering to them either. And the sister wrote a book who isn't very flattering, mostly to the dad, who apparently would like choke the mom and yell at her a lot. And meanwhile, like he had 2 marriages going on at once for a while with kids with both marriages.
Scumbag.
Which they kind of touched on,
I forgot about
Yeah.
that.
but they didn't get too far into it in this movie.
Not too much, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm really surprised they want anyone knowing that, let alone like, everybody who watches Oscar-worthy movies, all the Hollywood high society knowing these 2 people are shitty parents and they kind of, in a weird way, killed their own kid.
Oof.
Maybe it was like their way of punishing themselves, of if they were responsible, for him wandering off and forsaking everybody. Maybe, that's what they felt to feel better. I don't know. Just
Yeah,
a
maybe
theory to throw out
Just
there.
a theory, but it's not a bad theory.
No, it's not bad. Like, share the lesson. Like, don't do this. Your kid might die because if you suck as a parent, then they might wander off and eat mushrooms.
And just be stupid.
Just be stupid.
Not realize ice melts and rivers get bigger
Yeah.
come spring.
And you can't eat all the crap that grows in the ground.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And just because you read a book that looks like that berry, it doesn't mean it is the berry.
I'd get a photograph book, not a drawing book. I mean, come on. Someone
true.
doodles the flowers and you're like, no, dude, your life is in your own hands here. Get pictures. Make sure it's the same thing.
Right, right.
I mean, it is the 70s, so color pictures weren't around. So
I like what you did there, Denny. Good callback to me being wrong.
I was wrong
love
twice because I'm pretty sure colored pictures were around in the 70s. Anyway.
Yeah,
Any
anyway.
more thoughts on this movie, guys?
No.
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 Thoughts? Amanda, TC?
No.
No.
No. Amanda, would you,
Yes.
on your own personal, this might be hard to think about, but if you had a list of 250 movies and you thought they were the best ones, would this movie be on that list?
Well, since I watched it 3 times, I would have to say yes.
Yes.
Well,
That's
Yeah,
a
I'm
good,
gonna- Put it on yes as well.
TC, good. Wow,
Yeah.
look at us being so happy, positive.
Yeah, I like
we
this
like
one.
movies, don't we?
We do. I'm going to go yes. John, what do you say?
I'm still not sold.
Sold on the list or what?
Movies.
Sold on movies in general.
Yeah, in general. Right. No,
yeah.
Yeah, I think this is kind of a unique sort of. It's an interesting story. I like to take a character who you might hate, but then also like not necessarily make him sympathetic, but just sort of show a pleasantness about the whole thing. Even though he dies at the end, I know just all of that. Yeah, I'd put it on mine too.
Nice. This is, geez. I don't know how long it's been since that's happened. Yeah. Amanda, thank you so much for being on this episode.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah. Would you want to kind of give us your contacts again to bookend it to where people can find you?
Yeah, absolutely. So I have a podcast as well. It's called Rochester Rising, and it's on iTunes or on the website at rochesterrising.org.
Nice.
Very
and
good.
John, do you want to plug anything? You got Twitter, right? You're on Twitter. TC, you on Twitter?
No.
You're on Twitter?
No, I don't do Twitter.
We got our Mission 250 account. So
I don't Instagram. I don't Twitter.
Yeah, go to our.
I barely Facebook. So
Mission 250 Film. We never really plug that. We just say Twitter. We have
wait, what's that? What are we talking about here?
Yeah,
no, I'm just kidding.
Twitter and Facebook, iTunes, whatever podcast app you got. Thanks for listening, everybody. So next week we got Captain America: Civil War, directed by Anthony Russo and Joe Russo.
Another good one.
2016.
So 1970.
Nice.
Yeah.
1970.
God damn it.
All right.
God damn it.
All right. Cool.
Very well.
Yeah. Well, thanks for listening. Thanks again, Amanda.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, man.
Thanks,
All right.
everybody.
I'll talk to
Timmy?
you guys later.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, Timmy.
All right, thank you.
It's an old joke. It's terrible, and we still do it every time. It's fine.
Oh, yeah, it's never going to end. I'm going to go every single episode.
Yeah.
Don't give a fuck. All right.
All right.
See you later.
Bye, guys.
Bye.